Well, welcome to the Monday Money Tip podcast. My name is Megan Hibbard, and I am fired up. Not as fired up as Joe usually is, but don't worry, he's here with me. If you're not watching on YouTube, you should be. You just staring at me. But we're so glad that you're here, and we are on episode 319.
319.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weeks.
It's a lot of weeks.
Back when we first started, it was every other week.
Yeah.
For a year. So 26 of these episodes were for 1 year.
And then we cranked it up.
And then we've had almost 300, 297-ish. I don't know. I did bad math.
Here we are.
293-ish. That has been every week. So that's like almost 6 years worth of every week producing a podcast. Way to go. Awesome. Good introduction.
Thank you.
Sprung it on you. And what are we talking about this week?
Yep. So this week we're talking about how to secure your wealth in 2024. So financial storms survival guide.
Woo.
Do you know I absolutely hate storms? Do you like storms?
I don't like them when they have twisty things in them.
Ugh.
Like when I hear tornado stuff, it makes me very nervous, and I hate
I'm
lightning.
glad it's not just me. I can't stand
My twin was just out on a golf course, and they thought the storm was gone. And I'm not kidding. This was last weekend. No, it was like 3 days ago. He had lightning hit a tree 40 feet away from them.
Oh my God.
Hit this tree, and he said they did not have video. He had video of the tree afterwards, but he said he is confident that the golf cart was knocked onto two wheels from the boom.
Oh,
he
wow.
said it was terrifying. So I think he might be a little terrified of storms more than normal, which is good. I'm glad they're safe.
Yeah.
But storms are going to happen, and sometimes it happens financially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, what we know is some of these storms are macro in nature.
Yeah.
What do we mean by macro? It means big, right? So what are some macro financial storms that have happened in the world?
COVID.
COVID.
We all remember COVID.
Yes.
Still there. Or maybe a worldwide recession.
Yes. Those are big things. Like you have no control of them as an individual.
No, none.
And then some of them are micro in nature, which means what?
Yeah, so maybe like a job loss or a major expense, an illness, something like
Yeah,
that.
a bunch of stuff breaking. Our producer was just telling us right before this, he's had just the stack on stacks of issues. I think he's got, what were you saying, a lawnmower? Yeah, you got a washing machine or a dryer or something, and then you've got
AC.
the big one, the AC unit out in the summer in South Carolina. And it seems micro, but really we say micro in that it affects your family, not every family. Yeah. And so job loss, major expense, illnesses, yes. And so we want to help you secure your wealth here and really be able to survive financial storms. This is your storm survival guide.
Yep.
Bang, bang,
It's giving me anxiety.
bang. This is a National Financial Storm Podcasting Network. Stand by for news. Okay. Well, I don't know if that was good. Was that good? Kind of good? Did you know what was happening?
I knew it was happening.
Okay, very good. Well, let's help. These are some actions you can take. This is the how do you get to the safe shelter? How do you get in secure, lowest part of the house? Let's survival guide it. What's the first thing you would share with them?
Yep. So number one would be massive margin. So it's also why we emphasize so heavily in the beginning of the Fully Funded Life Ladder. So rungs 2 and 5, we emphasize savings.
Yes.
Do you have savings?
Yeah, and massive margin is so huge because if you think about, when we say financial storms, well, one thing that all financial storms have is they come with a cost or a price. They all exact a cost or a price. Financial storms, you're sick, you can't work, you go into disability, you have disability insurance, good for you, but still, it cannot replace all of your income. You have the ability to get overtime, and suddenly they stop offering overtime, and you've gotten used to it,
Right.
maybe even addicted to it, to overtime. You have to make an emergency trip out of town. Whatever those things are, you have to make a major repair. The one antidote for that is savings. I love this great verse in the Bible, Ecclesiastes 7, verse 12, says, wisdom is a shelter as money is a shelter. But the advantage of wisdom is this, it preserves those who have it. And what is he saying? He's saying that wisdom preserves the individual, the soul. But money it preserves your financial wherewithal, your financial health. And so how do you build massive margin? Well, you've got to make it a priority. You will not want, have you wandered your way to savings?
No.
No. How did you get savings?
You have to be disciplined and diligent about it. You have to put in the effort to, I'm going to save this money. I'm not going to spend it. I'm going to go out and put it over here in a safe spot, like an Ally, like a Marcus, like something like that, where you can't easily get to it and you're not tempted to spend it.
And there are temptations, and some of the temptations are so tough.
Right.
When your friends are going and they're all going to Disney World. And why don't you come? Or it could be as simple as those daily decisions of, hey, let's go out to eat tonight with the family. It's so much easier. I'm so tired, you know. And before you know it, you've spent $1,500 at restaurants in that month.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, you've got to fight for it. Massive margin. It helps you secure your wealth building. It helps you secure your financial wherewithal. The second thing is what?
Yep. So number 2 would be diversified investments.
Yes.
So maybe diversified within the stock market. So example would be mutual funds, index funds, but also outside of the stock market with real estate, small business, precious metals, etc., etc.
Yeah. So when you have diversified investments, and let's say the stock market fell like it did in March of 2020 when COVID hit. If you had diversified investments in real estate, well, let me tell you, you were really glad you had that.
Yeah.
Because it allows you to breathe. And I had rental property during that time, and we were able to collect rents all throughout that. And while the stock market was a little confusing at times, we were able to prosper on other investments.
Yeah.
Our business investments were on the struggle bus for quite some time due to COVID, but the real estate took place, and then slowly but surely, and then all of a sudden, suddenly, the market took off. And, you know, we saw this amazing thing happen. And so when financial storms happen, when you have massive margin and you have diversified investments, it allows you to breathe, because it's hard for all of your investments to be sick at the same time.
Right.
It's hard for all of them to be failing at the same time. However, if they're all in the stock market, it's not hard for them all to be struggling at the same time. That's why diversification is so important. I already mentioned Ecclesiastes. Let's go 5 chapters later. Chapter 11, verse 2, Solomon writes, invest in 7 ventures, yes, and 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. So what is he saying? You need to spread that risk around. So thanks, Solomon, for those good words. It is great for helping all of us encounter and accommodate financial storms. All right. We got another storm coming. What's another way to make sure you survive it?
Yep. All right. Another one would be good debt structure.
What's that mean?
What does that mean?
That's a big term.
Talk about it.
Good debt structure?
Yeah. So some examples could be maybe fixed rate mortgage for long-term stability.
I want to stop there at that example. Hey, that's one reason why the housing market has stayed higher priced, because the supply of houses is supply demand. There are so many people who did do this. They got themselves a good debt structure. They have 2.5% mortgage for 30 years, 2.75%, 3% for 30 years. And they can't go get a 6.5% mortgage now. And yeah, their house value is way up, but they're going to have to refinance. They can't pay cash for the next house. And when they finance the new house, it's going to be at the higher interest rate. And so this is what we might mean by a good debt structure. It preserves you. The one thing that is such a blessing versus 15 years ago in 2007 and 8, when they had subprime loans and everything was variable rates and they were all coming due in 3-4 years, is this time it's fixed for 30 years. And so people are not having a panic sale. And that rate is very good. Let's list some other good debt structures.
So another one could be the lowest credit card interest rates. So a 0% balance transfer credit card would be an example. So you have a debt with a credit card, you're paying a large interest rate on that. Well, maybe you're able to move it over to a 0% balance transfer credit card where you're paying no interest for a set amount of time. So 15, 18, 20 months, whatever it is. Every card is different. But imagine all of the money that you're able to save because it's 0% when you're trying to pay down that debt.
Yeah. And when you roll it to a 0% card, usually you have to pay a transfer fee, like 3% typically. maybe up to 5%, but then it's 0% for the entire term of the 0%. 15, 18 months is very common right now. We have a list of those on our next steps area of the website. But one thing that I want to point out here is maybe your credit is bad and so you can't do the rollover. Make a phone call. Call and ask to speak to a supervisor. The first person, you ask them for a lower rate, they're going to tell you no. Ask to speak to a supervisor. And we see the average person, they may not get 0, but they get it cut by some. And so that's a great way to get a better debt structure. And then, of course, the best debt structure of all is what?
0 debt with
no debt.
Substantial margin equals the best chance of thriving.
So when we put that together as a formula, no debt, even including the house, plus lots of cash in the bank, well, guess what? That equals your best chance of thriving through financial storms. And we want to help as many people as possible get there. You get there one step at a time, one good decision at a time, following that roadmap of the fully funded life ladder. And you, my friend, will be able to survive those storms. In fact, those storms, you may end up living in areas that they just don't see storms anymore. You just have nothing but sunny, blue skies, beautiful weather all day, every day. So, hey, hopefully this is helpful to you. Hey, which of these 3 areas do you need to work on next? Building that huge margin, getting that debt in a better structure, or diversifying your investments? Think about it and then take that step this week, and you'll accelerate your climb up the ladder to your fully funded life. We'll see you next week with another Right Now Relevant Monday Money Tip. Hey, thanks for watching this video. There's a lot more content on our website. We got a few of them linked right here, and we got a subscription link as well. We would be so honored if you would click that like and subscribe button and go learn some additional stuff so that you can live your fully funded life.